a scion of many worlds. I'm not sure whether to be pissed off or impressed with her. Emmanuel notes as he hands over the fuming wind Arumenta to his brother, who showed up in full power armor and with his grazer cannon warmed up and ready to reduce everything on the continent to irradiated slag. "Have you been hurt?" Horace asks, as the would-be assassin struggles a bit and gets a shake for her trouble. A trinity of extra knives fall out of her clothing. She's managed to wedge her little knife in between the claws. No actual damage, but she found a place where the armor is very thin. Had she the right energies to actually hurt me, well, she'd have hurt me, Emmanuel states, and Horace snorts. "Considering that I could hose down this area with the gracer, and there's only a small chance you'd be hurt by it, that's both concerning and comedic," Horace says in a clinical tone. "All right, you puff of wind. Why are you trying to knife my brother? Who sent you?" He shakes the assassin for emphasis, and another bundle of knives falls out. He pauses and clearly looks at the small pile, and then starts shaking her more and more. As he does so, an entire armory of weapons tumble out of hidden places in her clothing and fall to the ground until there's a 2-foot pile on the floor. "I'm actually impressed. That's a lot of tools for one job." It's never just one job. One thing always leads into 100 others, and it's too easy to get a knife stuck into someone, especially if you catch bone. The woozy and dizzy would-be killer remarks as she hangs loosely. "Seriously, girl, why did you attack me?" Emmanuel asks. "Just a job, nothing personal." "From who?" he asks, and she moves her arms to simulate a shrug. "Dunno. My order has a dead drop system set up. We're paid up front and never even meet the customers. Stops interrogations from being useful. Discretion isn't so much the rule as standard procedure. I'm sure you understand." "What was the coinage?" Emmanuel asks. "Miru, duh. We found the job in one of our dead drops the day after you showed up and pissed in everyone's wine. One of the biggest jobs we got in years." "Then why haven't you tried this sooner?" Emmanuel pokes further. "You never fucking sleep or relax. It took me days to get here without suspicion, and then, in the weeks after, you never let your guard down, never slept, and never relaxed anywhere. I wouldn't have to get through an entire army, over a continent, or somehow into one of those flying metal ships to get at you." "Really? I've been all but chasing you with a knife all over Lacron. You do not sit still. Well, if there's an upside to your insane work ethic, we found it. Assassins can't get you if you don't sit still long enough for the knife to show up," Horace states as he holds up the Arumenta higher. "So, what do we do with you? Will there be more of you if you're killed?" "No, I'm pretty sure there's less of something if I'm dead. Although with the rumors about my target, that might not be true." "You heard a rumor like that and still took a stab at it?" Horace asks. "Don't be naive. According to rumor, the Serpent Empress is an immortal goddess and not a series of Nagasha with tattoos. According to rumor, you arrived on Lacron in a crystal coffin. Things happening lately have been weird, but it's explainable." "Explain it then." "Rescue arrived and you're the scout. Just like you claimed. It's why you're so weird, it's why you're so capable. And you still took the job? Dark organizations like mine live and die off their reputations. If I didn't try, then my whole order suffers," she states. "Right. Okay, look, are you going to keep trying? I nearly broke my best knife on your fur and it shattered in your grip. You stopped me from escaping as you woke up and called in someone that may very well have knocked the nest out of the sky. I know when to cut my losses," she states, and Emmanuel flops back onto the bed again with a sigh of disgust. "What? Did I say something stupid?" "No, and that's the problem. Why is it one of the smartest people on this planet is a damn contract killer?" "Irony?" Horace asks. "You think stupid people last in my job?" "Ah, Darwinian selection. Got it," Emmanuel states. "Darwinian?" "A scientist from his species who observed how races slowly change over time and came to some fascinating conclusions. Any situation where the smarter, stronger, or better in one way or another thrives while the rest die is generally called Darwinian selection, Emmanuel explains, pointing at Horace. All right, that's enough lecturing, fighting, and teaching out of you. Get back to resting. I'll handle her. Non-lethally, if you can. If her order has avoided the brain drain, then they're useful, Emmanuel states. Fair enough. Also, I'm posting a guard now. I figured you'd be safe in the middle of your first conquest and surrounded by allies, but apparently not. You do know my mother is on the planet, right? You don't need to baby me. She's going to be doing plenty of that, Emmanuel states as he scooches around in the bed. Anyways, little girl, tell your friends that the scarier rumors are real. I can return from death. Killing me is futile. I'm done when I say I'm done and not a moment before. Oh, really? Ask Banshee or Archeon about whether or not death means something to me, will ya? Whom? He's been bringing people back to life, Horace states. Oh, come on, you can't believe that, can you? Do you know how easy that is to fake with a paid actor in a basic light-based magic show? Too easy is how, she protests. It's at once very satisfying and very frustrating to have some healthy doubts expressed, but annoying when you doubt the honest truth. Emmanuel notes as he puts an arm over his eyes. Right. Well, I'll be getting to the bottom of this. You're on doctor-mandated rest. I don't suppose you're going to let me have another chance at this, the assassin asks, and both brothers stare at her incredulously. Emmanuel even sits up to give her a baffled look. What? No harm in asking. Oh my God, Emmanuel moans before flopping back. I'll send someone to collect the weapons. Just get your rest. Horace tells Emmanuel before he walks out with the assassin still swinging by her ankle in his grip. What is this thing? She asks, tapping the glowing barrel of the Gracer cannon that she keeps getting swung in front of. That is a high-yield anti-ship Gracer cannon. It treats mountains like a cannon treats parchment, and were you in the capital of Miru, you would still be in strike range of the weapon. It's designed to fight and destroy the giant flying ships. You know, the ones bigger than most cities? It's meant to fell those in one blow, Horace says as he carries her out of the room. Now there's one major question I have for you, little lady, and that would be, is anyone else coming? Am I just dealing with you, or is there more to worry about? Horace asks. Because you were only asked to spare me and not my sisters. That's one thing to consider. There's our others, he states calmly as he walks outside of the building. Such as how many holding cells I'm going to need in order to contain all of you. You may have failed, but you still attacked and tried to kill a soldier in good standing. Putting aside that, I think of him as my brother, and he's one of the most politically and martially powerful people on Lacrin. There's the issue of the fact he's adopted the former queen of your homeland. What? You think that royalty or nobility keeps people off the lists? They're both the main customer base and the product, she states. It doesn't matter how gilded your crib is, everyone dies. True, but let's start talking. Emmanuel has asked for mercy. So what do I have to do to get you to stop? I'm afraid that the contract has already been agreed to. And it can't be bought out? I can't match or beat the price that was given to take my brother's life? I don't know who paid for the job. I understand that. The payment has been received. The job is going to be done. I must admit, most people would be at least trying to lie when they're caught in this. You're distracting me, aren't you? You are quick. She compliments him and he races back to Emmanuel's room and nearly takes the door off the hinges to see. That's not fair. The assassin complains as they both see that two other women are pinned to the stone floor, one by Emmanuel's foot with a bladed foot claw to either side of her neck and the rear portion of the claw lightly caressing her stomach. The other is pinned almost identically by Emmanuel's claw proper, except he's simply holding her around the head, and by her struggles she's not having an easy time breathing. That's not fair, the assassin states even as Emmanuel takes in a deep, trilling snore. He's still asleep? Apparently, Horace states as he holsters the massive cannon and then clips something to her leg. She vanishes in a forced teleport before she can protest. He then promptly gives both of the other assassins their own anklets, and then he scans the room. It seems clean, but he's not going to trust that. So he stands guard until the Welshman arrives to relieve him. Keep your eyes open. Apparently they're just waiting until now to attack, as it's their first chance. And you haven't moved him to a secure location? With the reflexes he's shown and the sheer defensive power of the fur, he's effectively in power armor. Everything the fur can't save him with you can easily cover. Also, by all rights, he should have brought himself up there. If he's chosen here, it's for a reason. It's the antenna. Electromagnetic radiation is what they detect. So sleeping in this low power place is like turning off the lights. Being on a ship takes getting used to again, as it's like trying to sleep in a spotlight. Doesn't matter what the bed's made of, it's easier to sleep here, Emmanuel states. So, about those assassins. Calm down, don't worry. We got this. The world won't fly apart if you take a day or two break. Could have fooled me. Air, earth, water, that's 3 of the 6 local Aromenta types that just tried to murder me. Am I going to get the full set? We're halfway there, Emmanuel mutters. So what do we know about our new friends? Only that they don't care about nobility. Apparently they consider the big wigs to be both their customer base and their product. Great. So these girls are the knives in the back of nobles in their petty games. Fine. No way to stop them. None I know of, however. We are currently hosting a great number of nobles that aren't too happy with you. I'm sure they'll be willing to answer some questions, Horace states. Try not to kill too many. Brother dear, you wound me, Horace exclaims with an armored hand over his heart. Emmanuel shakes a fist at him. Not yet, I haven't. Once you're done with your R and R, we can see if you can back it up for the first time, Horace teases. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I need to introduce myself to my niece's little friends. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, Emmanuel says with a chuckle. Which stops him from doing what exactly? The Welshman demands incredulously. Hitting on my daughter? Emmanuel asks. She's not blood related, Horace dismisses. I will hammer you into the bedrock like a nail, Emmanuel threatens. Oh, relax. She's too dainty and bratty for me anyways. I'm out of commission, so you're on shotgun speech duty if any boys look at her. What boys? The scientists your mother brought? Our fellow soldiers? The revived and restored clones dealing with the trauma? Who's gonna hit on her? Boys, keep a shotgun and a shovel nearby. Go to sleep, you lunatic. Horace orders him, and Emmanuel lets off a rumbling, trilling laugh in response.